Are you struggling with sales on Amazon KDP? Well, don't worry because you're not alone. Most books fail to sell because of few simple listing mistakes. Today I'll break down exactly what those mistakes are and how to fix them so your book can finally start getting sales. This is part of our Amazon KDP book listing audit series where we help authors improve their listings and start getting the sales they deserve. If you want to see more daily videos like this, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And just quickly, in case you're new to the channel, Cleo and I have sold over 240,000 books between our different Amazon accounts. We also have a Facebook group with authors that has more than 230,000 members in it. And with our self-publishing Titans tools, we have helped over 300,000 authors. So that's just a little bit about us, and then let's get into the first book. So the first book we're looking at here, we can see that rank not provided by Amazon, which just means that this book has never gotten a single sale. So let's see what we can do to help this author fix that. So you can see this was published in June, so quite a few months ago. So let's look at the title. So it says Healing the Wounded Inner Child Workbook, a CBT-based guide to overcome trauma, reclaim self-worth, and build emotional resilience. So this is a workbook. The title and subtitles sound okay. I guess my first question would just be, what is the main niche here and how in demand is this niche? So obviously workbook would be a main keyword, but all of these other words like healing the wounded, that's not really a main keyword. Overcome trauma, that could potentially be, but reclaim self-worth, build emotional resilience. What we are looking for in a title when it comes to medium and low content books is one long tail keyword that is searched for on Amazon. So that's one thing that I don't see here. And the easiest way to do that is using the Titans Pro Chrome extension. And the way that works is just typing in any search bar, and then you just wait a moment, and then the extension will start getting the data. And then you can scroll down on both of these sides and you can see the keywords, the search volume, the results, demand, and opportunity. This has a free version where you can get unlimited keywords and search results, and if you want the paid version, you can either pay for that lifetime or a low monthly subscription fee. I recommend starting with the free one. That's usually all you need when you're first starting out, but that is totally up to you. But once you start typing in a keyword, you want to start with short keywords, so kind of broad, so 1 or 2 words or 3 max, and then you'll get lots of suggestions, and then you can kind of see what people are searching for. And then what you want to do is look for a long tail keywords that you can target that has both low competition, a decent search volume, and a good opportunity and demand score. So I think that's one thing that's missing in your title. Looking at your cover though, I think you've done a good job on that. The only thing I would change here is removing some text. I think there's just too much text going on. The main text is fine, but then maybe removing that, I think it's just a little bit too much text. So looking at your description, so you have 5 bullet points. What I would like to see here is that you reduce the bullet points into shorter bullet points and have them just a little bit higher up. So a user can easily see what the bullet points are and just get a quick overview of the book. And then you can describe it more in the rest of the description. I think that will also make a good difference. So let's take a look at your A+ content. So here I don't see any A+ content, so that's also not good. I highly recommend you have some A+ content, especially for a workbook. What I would really like to see is what kind of workbook it is, what do the pages look like, and things like that. And I would probably also have some pages on the back cover, so when a potential buyer looks at these images, they can also get an idea of what the book is about visually. So that's also just a missed opportunity here. Yeah, and then no reviews. So if you that's also just another thing that's getting more and more important. Obviously, Amazon is getting more and more competitive, and we have millions of books being published every year. So your competitive advantage can be having reviews compared to most books that don't have any reviews. If you need help with getting reviews, you can go to selfpublishingtitans.com and click on the ARC review page. It's a new service that was just released that might be helpful for you. But yeah, so the main thing that I would say is really pick a good niche that is actually searched for on Amazon. That's the main thing that I see missing here. and then we can have slight improvements on the cover, slight changes on the description, and then definitely do A+ content and get reviews. So since this was published in June, if this is not your real name, you could also unpublish this book, make those improvements, and then republish this with a different author name. And then when you launch it, try to do Amazon ads at least during the launch periods, just to help boost that a bit. And I think that will help you. I hope that was useful to you and wishing you best of luck. And let's go to the next one. Okay, so the next book we have here is Reclaim Your Narrative, Mindful Writing for Mental Wellness. So the title and subtitle is quite short. I'm guessing this is a type of workbook. Let's just see. Okay, so here you say journal. Okay, so since this is a journal, this would be a huge missed opportunity. So for low, medium content books, you definitely want to have keywords in your title and or subtitle. And if this is a journal, you definitely want to have that in your title and the type of journal that it is. So what is the actual niche? So Reclaim Your Narrative. For a title, that could be totally fine, but what is the actual niche you're trying to target? This is not only useful for the Amazon search algorithm, but also for buyers. So the more they can understand what your book is about in the title, the better, because obviously when they're searching on Amazon for something, what they will see before anything else is your cover and your title. And then based on that, and obviously the price and reviews, they're either going to click on your listing to see more of that or not. So I think this is one of the main reasons that you've not gotten a single sale, is that it's not fully clear. Your cover I kind of like mostly. The one thing I can tell you that I would probably change is the text at the top. So overwhelmed by emotions, write your way to clarity, reclaim your narrative, mindful writing for mental wellness. It's just a little bit too much text for me. So I would just maybe have your title, Reclaim Your Narrative, since that's the title of your book. And then mindful writing for mental wellness, that's fine, but I would probably just have change that to also have the word journal in there and just to make it clear what it is, and then remove the text on the top. And I think that will also help you get more conversions. But I think you did a nice job with the color choices. I like the image you added there. So that's the only change I would make in your cover. Looking at your back cover, I'm not sure why you showed the front cover design. That's a bit of a wasted space. So maybe you can show a interior page here instead. I think that would be a slight improvement for your cover. Looking at your description, we can see there's a lot of bullet points. In my opinion, that is way too many. So I would narrow it down to 5 bullet points. Maybe you can combine some or just get rid of some. Just focus on the 5 most important points, and then the rest you can just have as a general description. But put your 5 bullet points higher at the top, right below the first line here. And I think that will also help you with your conversions. But good job on having A+ content. This looks quite nice. I like the way it's designed. I like that you have images and text. So that's really good. I also like this one right here. Yeah, so it looks like you put a lot of work and effort into that. That's really, really good on that. Good job. I like that you have a profile image. It's a nice image, and great job for having a description about yourself. And then the other plus point here is that you do have 2 reviews already, 2 5 stars. So good job on getting your first reviews. So I think that the main thing that you're not getting sales is potentially the price. $25 is slightly expensive. So maybe you can lower the price, or even see if you can reduce the page counts for the first book. Maybe it can be almost like a series or something, or just shorter, because obviously the less pages, the cheaper it is to print it. And then you could also lower that. So that would also help you with your conversions. So I would say that your biggest problems are most likely your title and keywords, and potentially the price as well. So those are the 2 things I would focus on the most, as well as obviously the other points. And then one other thing to consider is that your book size is 6x9, so slightly small, not too small, but maybe look at your competitors to see if they also have a 6x9 or 8.5x11. I'm not familiar with this niche so much, so I can't really say. But if most of your competitors are doing 8.5x11, then that's one thing you can also look at changing. But yeah, I think you're on the right track. You have a beautiful cover, great description, great A+ content and reviews. So I think you're on the right track. I think make these changes for this book and your future books, and I think you'll do better. All right, so let's look at the next one. So here we have a looks like a fiction book. Renegade, Records of Argos, Book 4, a thrilling sci-fi epic of mystery, espionage, strategy, and fast-paced warfare. So that's all good. I like that you have some keywords in there, so that's quite good for a high content book. But Renegade, so the title I like. My only personal question would be Records of Argos. I'm not too familiar what that is, and I could either just be me, but I'm guessing there's more people like that wouldn't really know what that meant. And if your title has words in it that people don't really understand, it won't really get them excited about the book, and they might not even click on it because they don't know what that is. And in book 4, that's something that could either be at the end or just ignored, because you also have a book series, so that's really cool and well done. So here you can already see that it's book 4, so it's kind of not really needed in your title. But I'm a big fan that it says thrilling sci-fi and the type of book it is, so I really think you did a good job on that. Looking at your cover, Renegades, I guess you have the text, and then book 4. So I like the colors you chose for this cover, but personally my own preference is that I don't really like the slanted text. It kind of just reminds me of Star Wars almost, but I'm not sure that I would like that on a cover myself, but that's just personal preference. This does not have to be a big point, but you could try changing it and see if it looks better. Looking at this planet, I guess it represents Earth, so that's fine. So overall, I think the cover is fine. I would just see if it looks better if it's straight text instead of curved back. Great job on having some reviews. Obviously you want to get even more, so that's something I would focus on, especially with high content books. The more reviews the better. So you have a lot of added text in the back of your book, so that's also good. Looking at your description, so it looks like you have a lot of text there, which is fine, but the one thing that's missing is bullet points. So I would like for you to add 5 bullet points just below this line here and just make it key things about your book. So one of the bullet points could be that this is a series and this is book 4. You can have one bullet point that describes what the book is about, and the others you can figure out. So let's look at your A+ content. So I don't see an A+ content, so that's a missed opportunity. And I think since this is a sci-fi, maybe what you can do is have some illustrations about your book characters. I think that could be quite fun, or maybe some of the worlds that you're talking about. Just anything that can make it more fun and exciting for your potential reader. But I like the fact that you have your own image here and a short description. So good job on that. Just to recap quickly, I would try changing just the top of the cover to see if that looks better. And then for your Kindle ebook, I would get rid of this part to see if that makes a difference for your Kindle conversions, adding those few bullet points. And then obviously you'll have to either run ads or do some marketing, because especially with high content books, that's something that's really, really needed, especially to get sales velocity going and some traction with sales and organic rankings. So if you're not doing social media yet, I highly recommend you do that. If you're not doing Amazon ads, try doing Amazon ads to book 1. And if people like book 1, they would obviously get book 2, 3, and 4. If you have a higher budget, you could try running ads to all 4 of them. But if you have a lower budget, start with your book 1. And I think that will also help you. I also like that you have Kindle Unlimited, so that's good. Yeah, so that's my feedback for you. I hope that these 3 reviews were helpful for you guys. Please make sure to leave a like to the video, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.